I don't even know what's about to happen next, but I'm already thanking God for what he's about to do.
With you is Naya John, and today I'll be showing you the part 2 of my earlier uploaded video, which was how to cut the mermaid lower bodice of this dress. But this video I'll be showing you how to cut the upper bodice and this rose effect on the corset cup. Stay through to the end of this video to get the details you need. Welcome back once again. Please draft your basic body block. That's what we'll do first. So you need your shoulder line, your chest line, your bust line, your waistline, and then the half line. Yeah, I've already gone to mark my shoulder measurement, which is 17.5 divided by 2. And I've marked what I have. Then on the neckline, I went in 3 by 3, which means that the depth is 3 inches and the width is 3 inches. That's for the neckline, 3, 3, and I've marked it. Go ahead and connect it, and that's the neckline. Now I'll move straight to getting the shoulder slope. I'll go down by 1 inch from that shoulder line, and I'll mark it. Then I'll connect it all the way to my neck line. Now, once you have gotten your shoulder slope, next thing you want to do is to connect that very point where you have your shoulder slope. Just connect it straight to the chest line, like you see on the screen. Now, after connecting, the next thing to do is to find the midpoint of the line we just created. The midpoint of this line I just created is 4. I'll mark 4. I'll just put a dot on that point, 4. Right? You can see what I just did. Then on that 4, that spot, I'll go in by 1 inch. Exactly 1 inch. I'll mark that 1 inch. Now, once you've gotten that 1 inch, come to your chest line. On that chest line, we're going to use the measurement of our bust. My bust is 36. I'll divide by 4. That will give me what? 9. Then I'm going to add, let's say, 2 inches allowance, and I'll mark 11. Now we have 3 dots, so I'll simply just connect those dots with my French curve. I hope that's clear, from the shoulder line to that point where we have 4, and then to the last dot. On our bust line, we'll also use a measurement for our bust. Our bust circumference, my bust circumference is 36. Divide by 4 is 9 plus 2, 11. I marked 11 again. I'll come to my waist. My waist is 28. I'll divide by 4, which is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9, and I've marked it. And I've simply connected that. There you have your basic block, right? Now, dear, please just cut out the unnecessary parts, because that basic block is what we needed. So now we've gotten it, we'll cut out the unnecessary parts. So the next thing you need are your bustier cups. You need a pair of bustier cups. That's what I'll be using to trace out the corset. You can see that I made a dart on my cup. You can do the same, okay? Now from the shoulder, that higher part of your shoulder line, not the slope, the higher part, place your tape right there and try to get your underbust. Then for my cup, I placed my cup from my chest line. I tilted it to the bust line, cutting across the chest, the bust, and underbust line, if you can see. So I made a space of 1 inch on that bust line, 1 inch from the center of my paper, and then I started tracing out the cup. I think it is self-explanatory from the screen. So one very important trick I use here, if my bust, like my bust is 36, but I use cup size of 40 or 42, so that when I give that dart, I still have a lot of cup to size my breast. So if you have a bust of 34, you can use a cup size of 38 if you want to use this dart method, because if you get your exact bustier cup size and you put this dart, the cup will appear very, very small when you're done sewing. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just tracing the cup right on my pattern paper, and yeah, the second dot I just traced now is for the yoke. Just follow the cup you have, and now I'm cutting out the yoke. If you feel like I'm rushing, you can slow down the video, but the focus is to show you how to get that rose effect, I know, right? And yeah, now before you cut out the second dot line, make sure you leave about half or 1 inch allowance. Originally it should be ½ inch for sewing allowance, but I'm using one because the fabric I'm using is stretchy. You know, this bridal train crepe is stretchy. If I cut exactly on that dot, it will be so wide by the time I'm sewing. So I had to remove about 1 inch before cutting so that the hole will be as small as possible, because trust me, while you're trying to sew this cup on the main fabric, it will be expanding on its own. I hope that makes sense. But if the fabric is not stretchy, just 1/2 inch allowance is fine, okay? This is the fabric I'm working with, and I'm about to place my pattern paper, so I'll cut out on the main fabric. Yeah, from after cutting the lower bodice, which I showed in the previous video, you're going to try your best to manage what you have left so that you can make the most out of it. All right, if you notice, I used this same fabric just 3 years to cut the mermaid dress with the tail and also the upper bodice, including the linen. Everything came from these 3 yards. So just find a way to work wisely with your fabric. Now I'm simply going to cut out. Y'all, after cutting, this is what it should look like. I'm just placing the cup to see what my final result will look like. Yeah, I really like this corset because it's not giving bondage, no bonding, no stress, just corsets. I mean, just easy. Now I'll move on to the next. To cut the fabric for my cup, I'm going to simply place my cup on fold directly on the fabric I want to cut. Then I'm going to give like 1 inch allowance all around that cup. So you guys, I'm using about 1 inch allowance because this cup is quite half. It's not a full cup. So it has every tendency to expose your cleavages in a way that you don't even want. That's why I'm making it a little more longer. Yeah, so when you're done, this is what you have. This is what I have rather. So I've cut out the fabric that I'll use to cover just one part of my bustier cup. Now I'll go ahead to create the second the fabric for the second bustier cup. You know, each individual has 2 breasts, so we've created the fabric for one breast. This is for the second breast, and here we'll have 4, 2 for one breast, 2 for the other breast. Yeah, so I'm going to get a light pad. Some people call it wadding, but if you don't know what a wadding look like, this is what a wadding looks like, and it has like 2 different surfaces. The first surface is quite smooth and hairy, while there's another surface that is quite sticky. The sticky part is where you place directly on the fabric, so that when you place your iron, it just sticks effortlessly. So I've gone ahead to trace out the light pad on my main fabric, and yeah, I'll simply just iron to make it stick together. After which, I will now cut the linen. The linen will be exactly the same thing that you have here. Okay, you guys, quite done cutting the pad. Now it's time to cut the linen. I'm using the exact same fabric to create my linen. I said this earlier. So if you manage your fabric well, you'd have enough to do whatever you want. So I'm cutting my linen now. Once you're done cutting, you can now go ahead and stitch together the linen. So I'll take this to the sewing machine and make a stitch. After stitching, this is what I have. Yeah, I've joined the linen and this is what it looks like. You can see how it looks like. Now I'll go ahead and join my main bustier fabrics. Look at how it looks. And yeah, you can see already what is given. I'll place the lining directly on it, and this is it. So this is my main fabric. You can see that my main fabric is longer than the cup itself. Yeah, at least it will go a long way in covering my precious boobs. Yeah, so you can see what you need to do. I've gone ahead to join both the main fabric and the linen. So I'll stitch down on the sewing machine the second part as well. You can see how I'm doing it, right? Place them together and join them from the center. the center. If you know you're going to get confused, please label your cup parts. All right, so this is where I'm stitching down. That's the center. And again, I'm done with joining both the main fabric and the linen. The main fabric is the one that will have the pad. Now I'm going ahead to give it a notch. Why am I notching it? So that when I place my cup on it, it will relax very well. It will relax very well. Now I'll simply place this on my cup and take this to the sewing machine. Make sure that you iron flat that place you stitch down. So you can see how I'm opening it. Open it, then place it on the cup. Open it very well, then place it on the cup. Make sure what you join together, that your seam is quite flat. Then you secure with pins on the cup. You can see, right? I'll pin it down before I now take it to the sewing machine. Oh my goodness, you guys, I've stitched down and this is what I have. You can see that you can guess that there's no light while I'm making this particular dress. So my pins came in very, very handy. Very handy. So I've pinned down, I've joined the fabric with the cup. See how full it looks. Now that we've seen what we have or what we should have, the next thing is to cut that flower effect that we had on our corset cup. Like you saw on the thumbnail, that flower is the most interesting part of this video. Like, I really like that effect. So let's begin. To get that flower effect, you need maybe like a pattern paper or just your fabric, whichever you want is fine. Now get one of those your cup that you've created. Like this is my own on the table. I'm going to measure around the perimeters of this cup. What did I say? I'll place my tape all round about the perimeter of this cup so that I'll know how many the perimeter is or the circumference is. All right, everything I have in total after measuring the circumference of this cup is 22. All right, now that flower base it has a base of a triangle shape. To get that triangle shape, that's what we're about to do. Now that's your 22 or whatever you have as the circumference of your cup. We are going to divide it by 2. 22 divided by 2 is 11. Now I'll place my tape on my pattern paper or my main fabric and I'll mark on that point 11. Okay, so after marking on that 11, we're now going to get the length, because all we just did is to get the width of the base. We're going to get the length of the whole triangle. So I used length 17 for the triangle in no particular order. I just used a random figure, which is 17. Now I'm going to connect this 17, which I mark on the left part of the paper, to that 11, which I marked on the adjacent part of the paper. Now the connection has happened. You can see the way I just used my ruler to connect both that 11 and the 17 together. Period. That is how to get the triangle you need for the floral effect. Now I'm simply going to cut out my triangle and then place on my main fabric. So y'all, this is my triangle and this is my main fabric as well. Before you place this pattern on your main fabric, make sure your fabric is folded into 2. When you fold into 2, you cut one, you fold into 2 again, and you cut the second one, and there you have all you need. If you look well, you'll see that I have just those tiny little ½ inch roundabout for the seaming allowance. Please don't forget that detail. Add those allowances for the stitching so that you do not reduce your fabric by ½ inch. Okay, if you look properly, you see that I left a tiny little ½ inch round about the triangle. This is because that will serve as my stitching allowance. You can see I have both triangles ready. Without taking your time, we'll go to the sewing machine and stitch down around the triangle, but we're going to leave the base open. Yeah, I'm done stitching the triangle and this is what I have. Please, to avoid mistake, just indicate the part where you're going to leave open before you go to the sewing machine. That part where we used 11, Yeah, that's the place you're going to leave open because we'll be placing it around the cup. This is what you have. You should have like a cone like, triangle or whatever. So this is it. I'll place it now on my cup. This is where it gets easier. We'll place it on the cup using pins to secure around the perimeters of the cup. Yeah, secure with pins till you've covered round about the cup. Now, once you're done securing with pin, you start adjusting the triangle whatever on the cup. Like, adjust until every part of that cone is relaxed on the cup. It's going to be giving this ruffled effect like a flower. Yeah, so just keep adjusting till all your triangle is on the cup in this manner. I don't know the words to use, but I hope it is clear from the screen. Now you need your needle and thread to secure. So I'll go round about my floral effect, securing with my needle and thread so that it doesn't deassemble. So I believe this process is quite explanatory. Place your cone directly on your cup, stitch down, adjust till you secure all the floral effect on your cup. Do the same for the second, and yeah, you have both cups ready. Now the next thing I'll do is to cut the lining for this my upper bodice. I'll cut the lining and then I'll go straight to fixing the cup on this. Now I'm done joining my linings together. The way I sewed mine, I joined my lining separately and then I joined my main fabric separately. So I'm done joining the lining and this is what I have. I'm going straight to joining the main fabric. So a quick one here, before you stitch your cup to this, your upper bodice, make sure you secure with pin the way you see me do on the screen, because this my main design is quite stretchy unless you are using a stern fabric. But if your fabric is stretchy, please secure with pins so that when you're sewing it doesn't expand. Okay, so I just finished securing with pins and this is what it looks like. I'll go to the sewing machine now and stitch down. It's looking all tacky because of the pins, but trust me, when you finish stitching it will be a lot more better. And this is my linen, so beautiful. After stitching my main fabric, I'll go ahead and hem with my interface. So right here I am simply stitching down the cup together with the body. So at this point the main fabric is ready and the interface, which is the lining, is also ready. The only thing keeping us is the strap sleeve. So we're going to create that strap sleeve and fix it. For the strap sleeve, we are going to need this same fabric we used for the floral effect. We're also using it for the strap sleeve. Oh my goodness, look at how beautiful our corset is looking. Oh, so cute. I had to add like a tiny little strap between the space on my bustier. If you want to do that, you can just make a strap of 1/2 inch and fix that. Now for our sleeve, I'm going to measure from my chest that is directly above my bust all the way to the chest at my back. Whatever distance I have there, that's what I'll be using for the strap. So now for the length, I'm using the length of 17 inches. This is because the measurement from my front chest to my back chest is 17. Now for the width, we are using 5. Why are we using 5? So that by the time we are done sewing and when we fold it, our strap will be 2 inches. Like, this is what I actually mean, that when we fold it, you can see we have about 2.5, but when we now sew it with 1/2 inch, we'll have 2 inches wide strap. Now this is how the strap is, 2 inches wide and 17 inches long. To fix the strap, place your tape directly at the edge of your cup and measure 4 inch. On that 4 inch, that's where you attach your strap. You can see I left space for my strap. I'll fix in my strap and then close up completely. That's that about fixing the strap. Once you get to this point, please make sure you give your cloth a very good iron. Iron the strap, iron the neckline, iron the armhole. Yeah. I know you love the result. You're loving the result. Should I show you guys how to make the back? Of course, that's why I'm here. Now for the back, I've simply gotten my pattern paper and I have removed my yoke. And of course, my zipper allowance is already on standby. Now I'll get my neckline. My neckline, I'll be using 4 inches for the width and I'm using 1 inch for the depth. Then I'll just connect with my French curve. The next thing I'll do is to go to my bust line. My bust is 36, divided by 4 is 9, and I'll mark 9. I marked at exactly 9 because my fabric is stretchy and I want it to be very fitted on me. So I just marked 9. Next is on my waistline. What is my waist? My waist is 28. I'll divide 28 by 4. That'll give me 7. And I'll mark 7. You already know why I'm not adding allowance. So I'll go ahead and connect that 7 all the way to my bust line. And then from that bust, I'll connect it to my neck line. Very easy. Very easy. If you want to understand, just play back this video. You definitely understand. Now I'm going to cut out the unnecessary parts and place this on my main fabric straight up. So I had to reduce my zipper allowance. I reduced it to 1 inch. I want my zipper allowance to just be 1 inch. Now I just labeled it to remind myself. So the zipper allowance is just 1 inch. Now I'll place on my main fabric. So y'all, this is me cutting out the unnecessary parts, and I'm going to show you all how your back piece should look like. When you're done cutting out, this is what you should have. After you've gotten this, please make sure you duplicate this and it will serve as your interface. So this is me duplicating mine. I'm cutting the interface right now, and once I'm done, I'll attach this to my front piece. Now, so yeah, this is the back and the interface, and this is my front piece. How I attach this is I'll join the side back to the side front and the other side back to the other side front. I'll do this with the main fabric first and then I'll interface so that the seaming will be invisible. So here I have joined the side back to the side front on both sides, and I'm left with attaching the interface. So I'm going to fix the interface so you see how I make that invisible effect, okay, that inner stitch effect. Right before the interface, we're going to fix that strap which we have on the front. We're also going to fix it on the back piece, okay. That point after the armhole that is quite sharp, that's where we'll fix our strap at. So I've just pinned this strap on that sharp point at my armhole region of the back piece. I'll repeat the same process for the other side. Yeah, once I pin this up, I will now use my interface to stitch down. Now for the inner finishing, here's how I go about it. I'll get my interface, right, and then I'll place it directly on the side. You can see how I placed it, right? Now I'm going to hold it from the inside and I'll stitch it down exactly with the same allowance I stitched the first one. So you guys, this is what we have. This is it. So I want to show you how to attach this upper bodice to the lower bodice very quickly. All you need to do is to locate the center of the lower bodice, give it a notch it, like use scissors to just tap it a little. Then do the same for the upper bodice. Yeah, you can see that very tiny cutting between at the very center of the top. I'm giving the same cut at the lower bodice, and that is what I call a notch. Now this will help you know the exact center of the lower bodice and the exact center of the upper bodice. Then pin them together using half inch. Pin them together using what? Half inch, center to center. Now I'm just getting my pins to pin up, and I'll pin up that center. After I pin the center, I'll make sure the sides as well are equal, so that by the time I turn the front of this fabric, you wouldn't know where the joining started from, because both the upper bodice and the lower bodice will be at the exact same line. Make sure after pinning the center, you pin the sides. Very important, the sides. And then you can now go all the way to the back. Take it to the sewing machine and stitch up. So this is how it is after stitching up. The only thing left now is to fix the zipper and to add the crinoline. Please don't sleep on this crinoline. Crinoline can up the game of your fish from 0 to 100. Believe me. So yeah, right here I was just fixing the zipper, and I didn't think it was necessary to show you all the process, so I just went straight to showing you how to fix the crinoline. If you don't know what the crinoline is, it is this plastic net-like stuff, and it just helps hem the down of your peplon, your fish, your gathers, anything. You can actually use this for anything. It could be whatever you want it to be. All right, so right now I'm about to start fixing it. So simply place the crinoline from the front of the dress. Place it from the front. I notched that place because I wanted to start from that place. You can do that as well. So place it from the front and then stitch through. So keep stitching down the crinoline by 1/2 inch all around the hem of your dress. Then when you get to that point where you started from, simply overlay the crinoline and cut the excess. You can see what I did there. Right, after that, the next thing you want to do is to turn the crinoline over to the back like this, and then you stitch at the very edge of the crinoline all around your dress. All right, y'all, if this video was really helpful, do well to hit that subscribe button, like this video, share to some of your friends, give me a comment in the comment section. And if you want to see the part 1 of this video, like how I made this beautiful fish dress, the link will be in the description box. Do well to follow through and thank me later. Till my next video, I love you guys. Bye.